Blairing Out Show.
This is Eric Blair from the Blairing Out Show, and I'm here today with Morris Hayes, keyboard player for Prince. How you doing today, Morris?
Who's that? I think that's the artist formerly known as.
Oh, you know what? I wanted you to say that. Okay, that's a mouthful.
It is indeed.
Tell me something. Tell me, who influenced you? Who was your biggest influence on learning how to play keyboards and kind of driving you in that direction to want to play?
Well, you know, growing up, there was a lot of influences that I listened to. Younger years, you know, I liked a lot of Herbie Hancock stuff. I liked a lot of, I mean, there's so many on the funk side, like the guys who played with Earth, Wind and Fire, Larry Dunn, and those guys, you know, Billy with the Ohio Players. You know, that was the stuff growing up. And then when I got older and got more into the scene when I was in college, then, you know, Prince at the time, that was the vibe, the time, and Prince and all that. You know, because it was band-orientated music, so I always wanted to play with the band thing, you know. So that was the early on.
So how did you end up hooking up with Prince, or the artist formerly known as Prince? But at the time you hooked up as Prince.
Yeah, I moved from Texas. I was working in Austin, Texas, with a band, you know, playing the 6th Street scene, and I got a gig doing Maserati, which was one of the breakout bands of the 80s there that was doing everything. And I went to Minneapolis to join that group. After that, I went with The Time after Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis were working on Janet Jackson.
Whoa.
So I did a thing with The Time for a while, and after The Time, Carmen Electra.
Yeah, I remember that record. I remember that.
One of my very fun gig, Carmen Electra. Yes, indeed. And then after that, the artist.
So now, is it difficult working for Prince? I mean, the artist formerly known as Prince, or is it easy? Or I mean,
it's a good gig. He's a perfectionist, so the thing is, it's never really it's not a walk in the park. I mean, but at the same time, it's a great learning experience, and it's very intense.
It kind of pushes you.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a perfectionist, and the thing is, he plays everybody's instrument, so you can't sneak nothing by and he think he won't know. You know, he knows all your parts, he knows his parts, so. You know, so it's pretty intense because when something goes wrong, it's like that's not the part.
Yeah.
You know, that's not it. So it's pretty intense.
So which of his albums have you performed on so far?
Everyone from let me see. I came in right after the Symbol album was released. I went on the tour, the Diamonds and Pearls tour, and then because he always does, it's kind of weird with him. He always does like 2 or 3 albums at once. So when we was touring on Diamonds and Pearls, the next record was already done. The video's already shot. So it was like I came in there on the Symbol album, and then after that, every record consequently after that I've been on since then. And that was back in, I guess, 93.
So do you have time when you're off tour with Prince to do any gigs for fun?
I don't gig around. That's the only gig I do. You know, I sit in every now and then with some of the guys that used to play in the band, have a band, and they're hot around town, and I'd sit in with them, but you know, this gig is pretty intense. It keeps me pretty busy, man. There's no time to go jamming around.
Did you get a call that said, hey, we want you to be in Prince's band, or did Prince come and ask you himself?
You know the funny thing about it, it's so weird, man, how I got that gig. The thing is, I was running into the band members, and they were telling me, like, congratulations.
Yeah.
And I'm going, like, apparently, he had told them that I was in because the guy that was managing him at the time had told him that he had talked to me, and I said yes, but he actually didn't talk to me yet. So everybody's like, yeah, hey, welcome aboard, dude, and all this, and I'm going, what in the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then, you know, eventually I ran into him at a nightclub, and the guy that was the owner came up to me and said, hey, do you want to be in the band? And I'm like, is this a trick question? And he was like, dude, do you know, like, hurry up and give me an answer because he's in here, you know.
Yeah.
And so I told him I had to think about it. He's like, dude, whatever, just, you know, I kind of already told him you said yes. And I was like, oh, you know. So I ran into him a few minutes later, and he said, you want to be in my band? You want to, you know, play? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So it was cool, man.
So you must have got, like, it must have been spine tingling, man, when you first, like, even thought about it.
You know what, the thing is, the big trip about it is when I left and got the gravity of what just happened,
Yeah.
I was like, oh geez, I've done it now. I've tricked these people. They think I can play.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
I was like, I've really pulled the biggest scam in the world just now. But it was cool, man. Quite the experience ever since.
Well, what can we look for in the future from you?
Well, this is 1999, so this is his year, man. And I think he's going to be back in the studio. We've been touring like since like end of '96, sporadically on and off. So I think this year, man, he's going to be back in the studio working with some different folks.
Well, hey, man, it's been good to talk to you, Morris Hayes. You take it easy, and this is Morris Hayes and Eric Blair with the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. Signing off. Bye-bye.
The Blairing Out Show.